bet my life I'm a Diceshaker. Electric lights on a skyscraper.
Welcome to the Diceshaker podcast. My name is Jordan Brown. I'm the host of the Diceshaker podcast. With me, as always, the man behind the scenes, Tyler Hartley. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jordan.
It is March, which means it is time to care about college basketball.
Yes, sir.
The bracket has been released. The tournament starts, I think, tonight, actually. They do that first four thing. But the real tournament starts Thursday, so we're going to talk about that in the second half of the show. First, we're going to start with a few things from the NFL, just kind of get our bread and butter out of the way before we get into the fun stuff. So, big news over the weekend is the Bengals announced an extension for both Jamar Chase and T. Higgens. Both of them get 4-year deals. Jamar Chase gets a ton of money. He is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. That belt has changed hands, I think, 3 times this offseason already. So now it is him, $40.5 million per year. T. Higgens also gets a big contract. He is now the highest paid, number 2 wide receiver in the league. And we'll talk about what that means in a minute. But his deal is also for 4 years. I think his is probably guaranteed through the second year. Chase, I would imagine, has pretty close to full guarantees. So we talked about a few times this offseason that the Bengals were in a predicament because they needed to pay their guys. They are not an organization that likes to pay their guys, but they had a superstar QB publicly demanding that they do this. So they end up getting the deals done, and they are... It's interesting because on one hand, you want to praise progress. Like, all right, you guys did it. For the first time ever, you stepped up. You gave out 2 big contracts. And the guarantees, they don't even like historically going into 2 years of guarantees. So it seems like they've committed a lot more money to these players than they ever have before. Joe Burrow, happy. That's great. They are not out of the woods here. Because number one, I don't want to give too much credit for it's a new Bengals. They've reformed because it's okay, they did the one thing. But now, in order to build this team out, they're going to have to do more. And we'll talk about what exactly they have to do. But they are now in a very unique position in the NFL where they are the only team that is building their roster in this way. Every other team that has big money committed to a superstar quarterback is not spending money on receivers. Mm-hmm. In fact, they're going out of their way to not spend money on the receivers. We saw the Tyreek Hill trade. We saw Stephon Diggs get traded out of Buffalo. Lamar Jackson's never played with a good receiver in his damn life.
Yeah.
Right? That's just kind of the way those teams build. The philosophy is essentially, we have the superstar quarterback, so let's leverage that he'll make the offensive players better. Let's put the money into the offensive line and into the defense. Kansas City has done this. The Bills are in the process of doing this. The Ravens do it this way. You could argue teams like the Chargers are doing it this way. Nobody is committing this kind of money to 2 receivers. You could argue the Eagles are, but Smitty's deal, Devonta Smith's deal is not anywhere close to T. Higgens' deal, and they're a bit of an exception. We'll talk about why in a minute. So now the Bengals are in a spot where they have to do 2 things moving forward in order to build around this team. 3 things, really. Number one is they must stay healthy. If Jamar Chase or T. Higgens miss any sort of time at all, this is going to start to look pretty bad. Unless at that point, honestly, I guess it's on Burrow to be all right, man, you're going to have to go be an absolute superstar now because we paid the guys and they're not playing. Number 2, they have to nail basically every draft pick now moving forward. It's specifically on the offensive and defensive lines. And we see this with the Eagles, right? So the Eagles, they've got big money committed to their receivers. They got big money committed to the quarterback. They got big money committed to the running back. How are they doing it? Well, they do it by hitting on offensive and defensive linemen in the draft at an absurd rate. Just over and over. That's why that team was so good this year, is the depth that they had on both sides of the line. But then you see it this offseason. Josh Sweat walks. He's gone. Milton Williams walks. He's gone. Can't afford to keep those guys. And so now the Eagles are, again, going to have to go to the draft and get draft picks again and replace the guys that they lost to keep that going. Because as soon as that starts to fall apart, you don't have the money to go pay offensive linemen. You don't have the money to go pay defensive players. And then you end up how did it work out for the Texans this year? Good quarterback, expensive receivers, nothing else. How'd that go? Not great. And they're pivoting away from that now, right? They didn't bring Diggs back. They trade Laramie Tunsil so that they can extend Derek Stingley. They've realized that's not the way. So the Bengals were in a tough spot where, I said on this podcast, they really had to do it. Because the other option was telling Joe Burrow no, and then you run the risk of, you don't have the cachet. You're the Bengals. You don't have to stand up to Burrow and go, no, we know the right way to do this. Why would he think you know the right way to do this? So, of course, he's going to want his way. And so you had to do it to keep Burrow happy. But now you are in a tough roster building spot. Trey Hendrickson still needs a contract. How are you doing that? And the way in which they're going to have to build this team moving forward, so we talked about it, 1 is draft picks. 2, and this is where I don't want to give them credit for being, we'll spend the money now, because the next way you do it is you restructure your big contracts, specifically Joe Burrow. So we've talked about what restructuring in the NFL, what that does. The Cowboys did it this year, for example. They restructured Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's deal. What you do when you do that is you basically convert a bunch of the salary you owe them in future years, or you convert the salary you owe them this year into signing bonus, which then gets prorated out over the length of the contract, brings the cap hit down.
Yep.
Great. Cowboys created like $50 million cap space doing that. If the Bengals were to restructure Joe Burrow, they could create like $20 to $25 million in cap space. That's enough to go get another starter or two and help this roster. Problem with that is when you restructure the deal and you convert that salary to signing bonus, you need to pay that money today. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow gets that money today, if that's how you're doing it. And so they have to physically come up with the cash. Are they willing to do that? Are they willing to come out of pocket for the 30 to 35 mil or whatever he's making, probably 40, 45, and give it to him? Do they have that money? Are they that liquid? Truly, we don't know. So that's where we got to keep an eye on the Bengals there. They are in a tough spot moving forward, but it's a move they had to make. And like I said, if they're healthy, if you have healthy Joe Burrow and healthy Jamar Chase and healthy T. Higgins, if you have anywhere close to an NFL average offensive line, even below average, your offense is going to be pretty good. And you can probably outscore a bunch of teams, especially early in the season. Late in the year, you got to go to Baltimore. You got to go to Pittsburgh. I don't know. But they were just in this place. They backed themselves into this corner by kicking the can down the road so long, to the point where Burrow got upset, publicly demanded the contracts. And because they're the Bengals, they don't have that cachet to stand on to tell Joe Burrow, hey, we have a certain way of doing things here, and it's proven successful, right? The way the Packers could with Aaron Rodgers when he was making his demands. The way the Steelers can right now with pretty much anyone, but they're doing it with Rodgers, where we are the Pittsburgh Steelers. We do things a certain way. If you'd like to come here and be a part of that, then maybe we can work that out. But we're not changing anything for you. And they've been a great franchise for 50 years. So they have the ability to do it. The Bengals don't do that. Yeah. The Bengals can't do that. The Bengals have to do what Joe Burrow says, and they put themselves in a bad spot. So, again, was my most interesting team to watch this offseason and will continue to be, I think, throughout probably the next year, really until this time next year, all through this year, seeing how they handle it. Do they restructure Burrow? What do they add around him? Can they nail their draft picks? And then how does this experiment work? Because they are, again, and in terms of a roster building method, they're a unique situation in the NFL. Nobody's doing it this way.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said with the offensive line too, they have to build that, and they have to help their defense out too, because you've extended, you made contracts for these players, but you kind of still have the same thing where it's like you're just going to outscore teams. Like, that's your nothing's changed in that aspect,
right?
Nothing's changed about the team.
Did they get better? No, not really. Right, and this is a team that missed the playoffs.
Got better, maybe
missed the playoffs, and you could argue, hey, we'll stay healthier. It's like, listen, Joe Burrow's not been like the epitome of health. His time, he's had 2 big injuries since he's been in the league, right? So. He had the ACL in his rookie year, and then he had that weird
hand thing. I don't know if it was wrist or whatever it was.
Yeah, there's been a lot of. Listen, I've watched way more Jake Browning in the last few years than I've wanted to watch.
Too much.
Way too much. Way too much. Way too much. His mom is out there like, yo, he's playing a lot, huh? So that's it. So that's it on the Bengals. Well, like I said, we'll see how it goes. Something they had to do, but definitely an interesting team to watch. So that was really the biggest news out of the NFL. Derek Stingley got a contract extension too, which just as an aside, the 2019 LSU team, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Derek Stingley. That's about $600 million worth of contracts just from that one 2019 team. Truly one of the best college football teams of all time, and it continues to look that way. It just keeps getting more and more so. That team was incredible. So shout out to Derek Stingley getting paid. And I think that was actually when we touched on the Tunsil trade, and we said that it was for the C.J. Stroud and the Will Anderson extensions. Completely forgot about Derek Stingley.
Yeah.
Derek Stingley is another one they had to pay. So now they had to trade Tunsil, looking at it now. So, all right, so that's that. Now, one other thing in the NFL we got to address. Bill Belichick. Now, I want to be I want to be careful how I do this because I want to first start out with saying that I have a deep love and appreciation for Bill Belichick, and I have for a very, very long time. What he was able to do in New England for the length of time he was able to do it, and the way he was able to do it was truly, like, I don't think anybody else could have ever done what he did, especially in the way he did it. And so a lot of respect for Bill. Love Bill to death. I would say one of my heroes in the game. So we'll try to catch everybody up to speed here on the situation. So as many people know, Bill Belichick is currently the head coach at the University of North Carolina. Before he took the North Carolina job, it came out that he was dating a 24-year-old at the time philosophy student that he met on a plane, and he had helped her with her homework. That is how they met. And so that came out. That was a big thing. Bill Belichick is in his 70s. There's about a 50-year age gap in the relationship. I had no issue with it when it came out. All right, I'm not a hater. If after winning 6 Super Bowls, you want to spend your retirement hanging out on a beach with somebody 50 years younger than you, by all means, brother. I don't have any issue with that. So that comes out, and everybody, they're getting their jokes off. By the way, every great football coach I've ever known is like minimum 2 divorces deep. You know, like if you're a football coach and you have like a really great stable family at home, I got to think you don't work that hard.
You got a bad line.
Football team. Like John Gruden like slept in his office. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't think his family talks to him anymore. Like Urban Meyer, that's another one who was the head coach at Ohio State in Florida, won national championships. His family made him quit, or they were basically like, "Yo, we're going to disown you because like we don't see you." Kind of thing. That's the kind of football coach you want. So I got no problem with Bill having I divorced his wife, and like there's been other I guess before this other stuff where he's been dating younger women. No problem with it at all. Big fan of it. So then, as the UNC thing starts to kind of go, and they're starting to, they're putting together their little recruiting their packages, and they're starting to, the Bill Belichick era is getting underway in Chapel Hill. Some whispers start to come out that his girlfriend, whose name is actually Jordan, coincidentally, is very involved in his professional life. Some people will say that, she's his manager. Other people are like, she's kind of acting like his agent. Like she's in on like contract negotiations and stuff like that. And so then it came out, I think last week, that an email leaked. It was Bill responding to an administrator at UNC who, on paper, is his boss. In actuality, I don't believe Bill Belichick has a boss. I'm sure he's calling all the shots there. But just going off the organizational structure, that is his boss. Mm-hmm. He responded to this administrator saying, "Hey, thanks for the email. I've copied Jordan so she can keep up with my meetings. Anytime you email me, please include her." So telling his boss runs a University of North Carolina is a multi-million-dollar company, "Hey, make sure you include my 24-year-old girlfriend anytime you email me." Kind of crazy. Again, listen, man. I don't like. She's like. Just go Google her.
Oh, she'll be. I'll show her.
I've done crazier things for uglier women. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Who are you? Who are you to start telling Bill Belichick like, no, you can't be infatuated with the 24-year-old? It's what it is. Again, did I love it? I didn't love it. I let it go. Because Bill is Bill. He has 6 rings. If he wants to hang out with the 24-year-old involved, whatever. His career, in my opinion, is finished. Like, he's already accomplished what... He's a Hall of Famer. It's already over. Everything now, if he wants to fuck around at UNC and hang out with the 24-year-old, no problem at all. Then she posted a picture to Instagram. And this is where... And Bill, I'm talking to you right now, man. Bill, this is where I had to draw the line. So this picture, I'm sure we're going to put it up on the screen so everybody can see it. So she posted it to her Instagram. It's a picture of them on the beach, I guess doing yoga or something. The greatest football coach of all time is on his back on a beach, legs up in the air like a newborn baby, and she's like laying on his feet or whatever. Bill, I get it, man. She's crazy looking. I get it. You're 7. What do you have to? I understand. This is unbecoming for the greatest coach of all time, okay? This is not, we can't endorse, this is where my endorsement, my backing of Bill Belichick in this relationship has to stop. Because now you're calling my credibility into question. If I'm out in the streets defending this, people are gonna tell me I'm not a football guy anymore. People are gonna tell me that I've lost my way, and then we can't have that. So I just want to say the Diceshaker podcast disavows this photo. We do not support it. We do not condone it. Bill, I need you to stop. I need you to stop. Listen, again, I'm not telling you got to break up with her. I'm not telling her she can't be involved in your life. What I'm saying is, Bill, you need editorial control over the social media. Okay? Because here's what happened in that. Here's how that picture comes to be. At some point, they were on vacation or whatever that I'm 100% sure he's paying for. And she told him, hey, we're going to go to the beach and we're going to take this picture. And the man who 6 Super Bowls, didn't re-sign Darrelle Revis, traded Logan Mankins, basically told the media to go fuck themselves anytime they asked him a question for 20 years. Just went, okay. Yep, sure. It's like, what happened to we're on to Cincinnati, Bill? What happened to no excuse? What happened to do your job? Bill, that is not your job, man. And so it hurt me to, and
the more I look at this photo, too,
it's a tough look for the greatest coach of all time. And again, I don't have any problem with the dating the 24-year-old. It's not like, in fact, if anything, we're a pro scumbag pocket. Like we endorse that sort of thing. I'm fine with that. This is a bridge too far. This is a step too far. And Bill, listen. Clearly, there's nobody in his life that loves him. As somebody, there's millions of them out here who care about you, Bill, and care about your legacy. You got to stop. It needs to stop now. You can't. This can't go. What if a recruit sees this? Well, hey, I'm 4-star cornerback, and I got offers from UNC, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. You know what Kirby Smart's not doing? He's not giving his girlfriend airplane rides on the beach.
Yeah, you can't be the guy who takes no shit and then takes shit.
Exactly.
Like this. Yeah,
exactly. Bill, like we thought you were the one, man.
Yeah.
So like I said, no problems with the relationship, no problems really with the profession because it's like whatever. He's having fun down in North Carolina. I don't care about that. This we can't have. You're tarnishing your legacy. It means too much to me. Damn it. Like it should mean more to you, Bill. I'm shocked, Bill. But I'm telling you right now, it means too much to me. I can't allow this any further. So listen, officially disavowed. That's our statements. We've officially disavowed.
There's not really like to come back from this too, right? Like I do see what you mean, where this is going to stain it a little bit. Like he could do a lot at UNC, like at North Carolina now too. It's like, well, you still got this photo.
Listen,
out
there is a little that's very true, and there is a little part of me that is like maybe he's doing because like the whole like it came out that apparently the reason he's even at UNC is basically like a fuck you to the NFL, where like nobody wanted to give him control over a roster, and he said fuck you, I'll go to you, I'll show, like basically just being like I can do this anywhere, watch what I can do. And so if this is him being like yeah, no, I'm good, yeah, no, it is embarrassing, and then they go 10-2 this year and make the playoff, and it's like yeah, listen, I'm still the man. There is going to be like I will get behind him on that aspect of it, of like yeah, like we don't care about the pictures. He's still the GOAT, but Bill, I need you to stop with the pictures, okay? I can't.
Yeah, like if there's any more pictures,
Bill,
then it's a problem.
Bill, yeah, well, currently we have 1 picture, 0 wins, okay? So until we can start...
How many wins gets rid of a picture?
That one, I mean, it depends on the picture. That one, like if he starts, like, if they win all their non-conference games, they start, like, 4-0, and, like, there's some momentum behind the program, we're going to stop talking about the picture,
sure,
and that's fine. But Bill, we can't have, like, we need to. Are
we gonna blame 1 and 3 start on the picture?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
he's lost his head.
Well, it's her.
He's lost his head. It's her.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm immediately blaming her.
This feels like the Beatles being broken up. This feels like John Lennon's being torn away. Did you get that reference at all?
The Beatles and Yoko Ono and stuff like that. Yeah. No. It's just like.
Sorry, you looked at me for a second. I was like, all right.
No, listen. I'm not. I'll never admit that like the GOAT has lost it. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go. Yo, she's the problem. She's ruining the greatest of all time. Look at the stupid pictures. He's on the beach. He's not out recruiting.
Yeah.
Like this is a problem.
Absolutely.
And so that's. Like I said, we'll see how it all goes at UNC. I needed to get out in front of that as a certified Bill Belichick guy. Like when it was always like, oh, is it Belichick or is it Brady? I was always on it's Belichick more than Brady. Tough corner to be on. How the end of their both careers went. Tom leaves and got Super Bowl. Patriots go in the tank.
Yeah.
And again, and I still fought the good fight. Bill, you're making it hard. You're making it hard, Bill. All right. I'm here for you, and I want to keep fighting. I need you to knock it off with the picture. Again,
that's true too, because you came out of the right away and you were like, "This is sick that he's got a hot girlfriend." Like I remember.
I was good with it.
Yeah,
I was good with it. Again, this
is
the bridge too far.
Too much. Yeah.
This is the bridge too far.
Yeah.
Is you're making it really, really hard to defend you. And I'm just saying, the summer's coming. She's gonna come up with a bunch of dumb. If he starts like, I'm gonna say this right now. If I ever see a Tik Tok with Bill Belichick in it, that's going to be a 5-alarm fire. That's gonna be like if he's like doing the thing where they do like the voice dub over the clip and he's like dancing or whatever in their little TikTok.
He's not going there.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what's possible anymore.
No, this is different than that. This is different.
There's I don't know. There's things I believed about Bill Belichick before this weekend that I don't know if I can believe anymore. Because again, there's a man who looked Darrelle Revis in his face and said, "I'm not extending you." Logan Mankins, who had Hall of Fame level guard, had won Super Bowls for Bill. The second that he was not worth the money they were paying him, they traded his ass. Like he's ruthless, cutthroat. It's a business. Do your job. And now we're doing.
It does seem like this chicken.
And we've got our ass out on the beach. Yeah. Now we're 73 years old. We got our ass out on the beach. So all right, that's it. That's the football segment of the show. We're gonna go to a break right now. We'll come back. We'll talk some college basketball. All right. It is March. It is college basketball time. The bracket has released. First thing I want to say is I think the March Madness tournament is, I think, the best postseason in sports. I think, college football is doing their best to try to replicate it. I don't think any other playoff format brings the juice the way the NCAA tournament does. So that's number one. Love that. I think part of the appeal they have is like brackets are just sick. Like when you look at 64 teams on a bracket, and if you're just like a true sports guy, you're just like, look at all these games.
Yeah,
there's just so many games, right? It's a quantity over quality thing. It's like most of them are probably going to stink. Doesn't matter. It's just a ton of games. So I think that's an advantage March Madness has. And now I think we don't want to run into another Brandon Hagel, Brady Kachuk situation here where you hardos start coming at us. We don't watch college basketball. Have watched 0 seconds of college basketball all year long. Don't know anything about any of the teams. I would say probably 75, 80% of people who watch March Madness are going to be learning everything as it happens. And that is the beauty of March Madness. That is the beauty of the tournament, is they structure their tournament in a way where, hey, listen, we understand that nobody's paying attention to the regular season. The college basketball regular season happens at the same time as the NFL, the same time as college football. The NBA is on, so there's like a higher quality basketball league happening at the same time. Nobody's paying attention to college basketball. Doesn't matter. All you have to do is pay attention for the tournament. Anybody can win this thing. Anything can happen, right? Every year, if you're in a bracket contest, it's not like the dude who watches it who wins. It's some chick who's picking off jersey colors who wins, right? So that's what's great about the tournament. You get the storylines going throughout. You get it happens at the perfect time of year. Like we've come to a consensus as a sports community that the last 2 weekends of March are for the tournament, and obviously they do the Final Four into April and stuff. Those if you're like Thursday through Sunday this weekend, Thursday through Sunday next weekend, dominated by the tournament. That's all you got to pay attention to, which is great. You're not distracted. You're locked in. You get the crazy upsets, which everybody always loves, right? There's always all kinds. It's definitely the most volatile sport out of any of the sports. Now I will say this. I don't like when there's too many. I don't like too many upsets, especially early on, right? It's fun the first weekend when it's like, oh my God, UC Santa Clara just won and whatever, the 15 seed beat the 2 seed, and that's all well and good. And then you look up on Saturday, the second weekend, and Toledo's playing McNeese State, and you're like, this stinks.
No, I agree. Yeah,
right? We don't want too many. We want a couple. We don't want too many. So that's kind of how I approach the NCAA tournament. Another thing it brings that I really, really love, and this might just be a personal thing, might be different for other people. It's just just the volume of the games. It's just my happiest moments where I love, right? We talked about before, when I get a full slate of college football and NFL, and I can go 24 hours over a 2-day period of watching games. NCAA tournament brings that for sure, right? You've got games on all day long for 4 straight days. The bullets are flying constantly. It's just exactly what I love as a gambling experience of I want as many games as possible going on at once so that there's action everywhere. So they do a great job of delivering that to you as well. And just the best format for just getting ridiculously emotionally invested into people and teams that you didn't even know existed today. Right? Today is Tuesday. And the other thing I like is this first 4 thing that they do. Now, I think the college basketball hardos don't like it because it's like now it's there's like 68 teams instead of 64 because they do like a play-in game tonight and a play-in game tomorrow. I think that's perfect for the casuals. I got to get adjusted. College basketball is a different sport than like you're a guy who watches a lot of NBA. College basketball doesn't look anything like the NBA.
Nothing.
So you got to get your
not nothing, but yeah, like
but it's not close. It's a different sport. So you got to get as a gambler as a sports boy, you got to get acclimated to that. You can't just get tossed into, hey, we got 13 games today and you got no rhythm. You got no idea how to watch. So we get a couple of games, right? We're gonna watch tonight. We're gonna watch tomorrow. We're gonna get into the college basketball swing of things, right? We're gonna understand how to it's all gonna come back to you. It's like riding a bike. Every March, it's like, all right, okay, this is how you watch college basketball. So I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's a great product. I love it every year, and I'm excited for it. So that's kind of the overall takes on March Madness. We're gonna get into I'm gonna bet a lot of games, like probably most of the games over the next little while. This is not what I give you people during the football season. Like, I'm not going to go 60%. I'm probably not going to go 45%. I'm going to, like, if anybody has any winners, please send them to me at the Diceshaker. I would love to have them because I don't have them for you people. All right. What March Madness is about leveraging vibes to maximize the amount of fun. We are looking for fun bets here. We are looking to enjoy this. This is not. We are going to war. It's always a war. But this is not. I'm not staking my reputation on these picks the way we are in the football season. So it's all super casual. Now, to that end, we here at the Diceshaker podcast, we like to put our names on stuff. We like to stand behind what we say, and so I think it's going to be appropriate if, as a podcast, we place a bet on the winner of the NCAA tournament, and then that way we can get fully emotionally invested, become diehard fans of this school for the next hopefully 3 weeks, and if they lose, we just get to motherfuck them for the next. So we just get them rationally upset, call a bunch of 19-year-olds' character into question. How were they raised? Oh, I bet he didn't have a father at home. That kind of thing. Like listen, I've never get so mad. And I bet on a lot of sports and sports I care about more, but when they miss free throws and stuff, like it is one of the most excruciating sports to bet on from that perspective.
Especially in the college game too.
They miss so many
literally
shots.
the same as catch the punt, man. Like it's like hit those free throws. You
gotta make
your
free throws.
It's like we don't know.
And listen, and that's how you end up, wishing that planes full of 19-year-olds crash.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I got for you. So I've gone down the odds board here and picked out, I don't know, the top 8 or 9 teams in terms of who the favorites are. And we're going to go through I've done what I would say is surface level research, but also leveraging what I know to be true about gambling as well. Yes. Right? There is some institutional knowledge here of I do know how the gambling gods work and how all this stuff kind of manifests itself. So Tyler, here's how it's going to work. I'm just going to give you what I got. I'm going to give you the team. I'm going to give you the odds and my notes. And we're going to decide if we move them on to the next round or if they're done right now. Okay. And eventually we're just going to talk it out, land on a bet. That's the bet. The Diceshaker podcast officially endorses Team X. Yeah. All right. So we're going to start with the favorites. Now, the one thing I will say about this odds board is there are 4 clear favorites and then a giant
It's a cliff after.
Which is weird to me because I think NCAA tournament, I think volatility. I think anybody can win. Why would I ever bet a favorite kind of thing,
No, I feel like you're kind of getting sold, which is weird for you, but you're getting sold on the dream of the March Madness tournament, which is everyone can win. It's there's 4 or 5
What was the last time the battle? But hey, listen, I don't know shit about it, so maybe I'm wrong, but so here, we'll talk about it. So Duke is the favorite.
Yep.
They're plus 290. Now here's what I know about Duke. I know they have Cooper Flagg, who is the number 1 player, I guess, in the country. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. It's going to be the first. This is a great stat. He's going to be the first white American to be drafted first overall in the NBA since 1970.
Ew.
Every other white guy who's been gone first.
Who was the first one?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, you just don't know.
It was in 1970. I don't know.
I was also just thinking Larry
Rusty
Bird,
Smith
I was
or
thinking
something.
It was Larry Bird, to be honest. But
No, Larry Bird not go
he's
first.
an 80s
Magic
player,
Johnson
right?
went first.
Matt Johnson went first.
Okay. Right, and Black American, right?
Yes,
Black Americans.
Black American.
White
of course,
American.
yes,
White American.
yeah.
And he's super white. He's from Maine. He's very white.
Shit, yeah.
But apparently very excited. Now here's something else I know about Cooper Flagg is he's hurt. I know that. I know he's hurt. I think he hurt his ankle. I heard he's out for the first 2 games probably. So Duke is sitting at plus 290. So here's what and I'll bring some of this into. Here's what I know about Duke. Everybody hates him. Just flat out hates Duke. Especially when they've got a good white guy. Yep. So it would be a decent troll play to just become hardcore Duke guys for the next little while, and just it'd be like it's like becoming like
Maybe like being a Chiefs fan at the start of the year last
yeah,
year.
exactly.
Yeah,
It'd be like pick a team. Yeah,
Duke's
exactly.
generally pretty good, too,
Right, exactly.
So, yeah.
Now here's the problem: is this all just how my mind conceives this of okay, so we have Duke, they're the number one team, they're supposed to be the number one team. They have this all-star player. He's hurt, but he's going to be back. This screams to me like upset in the round of 32, and Cooper Flag never gets to play a game in the tournament.
I want to go the other way on that and think that Cooper Flag sitting out for 2 games is precautionary because they are so much better than the
Right,
teams they're
exactly.
to play.
It wouldn't be. It would be a very Duke thing.
Yeah.
It'd be a very Duke cocky rich kid asshole thing to be like, yeah, we're just gonna sit our best player when we don't have to, just as a precaution, and then they lose to fucking Weber State and they're out.
I'm not sold on that. It almost feels like more of a basketball thing of like, let's give him a rest day.
Right.
Yeah.
But what the Duke thing would be is like, yeah, you dumb nerds think you're being smart, and now they're out. Like Duke is like when I think of Duke, I just think of like a rich white kid in a quarter zip being like, my dad's a lawyer.
Sure, yeah. But I see that team in the finals and like some underdog comes
All right.
and beats them.
Well,
yeah.
look, they're plus 290, so that is. I just
Obviously, I'm just taking the obvious take on this too, but I believe in that obvious
all right.
take.
Well,
though,
we'll put Duke in the maybe pile. That's fine. Now another thing I noticed just generally is looking at this bracket, the SEC somehow became a basketball conference. All of a sudden, I don't know when that happened. There are 14 SEC teams in this tournament. It's like a record. They've never had this many teams. Like Georgia's in it, Oklahoma's in it. Like all these teams, and so part of what's going to color my it's very hard for me as I was going through this to separate like the football program from, you know what I'm saying? Like when I the next one is like Auburn is coming up. And like it's hard for me to think it's like, well, Auburn football. It's like they always lose, So anyway. So the SEC became the next team is Florida. Here's what I got on them. So they're plus 340. They won the SEC tournament. They have a very good offense. Mm-hmm. That's about what I got. I just again, this is where the football thing comes in. It's like Florida's not going to win the basketball national championship. It's Florida.
Yeah. I want to say I kind of like Florida just because of the history you've given me on Florida too. With like when they got in a bunch of shit, they had a bunch of players that were getting arrested. During Urban Meyer's. It
was Urban Meyer. Yeah, Tebow and all them.
Yeah, well, they were all getting arrested. They were kind of just like throwing it under the rug. Like, our team's really good. There's a part of me that just biasly likes that. The same as like you're thinking like, oh, they won't win it. I was like, oh, they might win it because they're fucking thugs. They might. They're sick.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
I don't know.
That's the thing. And that's
the thing
with these SEC teams. It's going to be a theme throughout this. Is like like in my mind, and again, like, does Florida even know they're in this tournament?
Yeah, do they give a shit?
Like that's what I'm saying, or like they concerned about like spring football?
Yes,
you know what I'm saying.
Question.
So listen, I'm like I said, I know they won the SEC, which apparently is the best basketball.
I do like having a good offense too, because there's a lot of guys that just don't score the ball.
They score, but also that to me too is like, what if like there's just a night where the threes don't fall?
That's another very good point. Yep.
Right.
Which they will dry up.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's
face
Florida.
that strong 2-3 zone in college. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like it's like there's just to me like. When I think about like gambling on March Madness games and betting like favorites and betting big programs, it's just like the most infuriating experience a lot of times.
Yeah, I mean,
of like this clearly athletically inferior team is just like has one guy who's gonna go like 7 of 9 from
I think that's a big one we should have probably like done right away, and maybe you have is whites to blacks basically.
I'm gonna imagine
on matchups.
I'm gonna imagine Duke's probably pretty white.
Yeah,
I'm gonna imagine the next 3. Not to spoil it, but we're gonna go Florida, Auburn, Houston. I gotta assume that
there's something about basketball too, where it's like one white guy is sick. Too many white guys though. It's like I grew up playing with a lot of white guys, like in our area. I'm just like, fuck. I actually hate white basketball players.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
A bunch of pretenders.
The little side tangent, but did you see the clip of Austin Reeves? You know Austin Reeves. He plays for the Lakers.
Yeah.
He went to Oklahoma actually.
Yeah.
They call him Hillbilly Kobe. He was telling
that's sick.
Sick nickname. He was telling a story about how, like, growing up, he would always, like, anytime he would, like, go to play pickup, they would always be like, oh, I'm going to get the white boy. And he's like, yo, it's going to be hell. Like, I'm going to kill you.
No.
So that's very funny to me. Just, like, them always being like, oh, I'm going to card. And him just having the confidence to be like, yo, this is going to be the worst day of your life.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. They sneak up on you, man.
Yeah. All right. So Florida, like I said, they won the SEC. They have a good offense. I'm going to need a real good reason to place. Like, they have to win 6 games to win the national championship. And so at plus 340, like, I have to have the money line 6 times. And that just, to me, like I said, we'll revisit it all at the end. I don't feel great about Florida. Now, the next one, Auburn, another SEC team. Now, here's what I know about Auburn. They were good to start the season. They were ranked number 1 there for a while. They were kind of seen as, like, the team. Now they stink. They've lost, like, 3 of their last 4. They got smacked in the SEC tournament. Now, here's also what I know about them, is they are Auburn. Okay? And so, for those of you out here who aren't really familiar with Auburn, anytime Auburn football has had any sort of expectations put on it, they immediately collapse and fall apart. Mm-hmm. And so that's just, again, when we're talking about, the Bengals are the Bengals and the Jets are the Jets, it does have a little bit of correlation here of, like, it is Auburn, and good things do not happen to Auburn when they're supposed to happen. Auburn does good things, like in 2010, when they're not supposed to be good, and Cam Newton has the greatest season of all time, takes them to a national championship game. Mm-hmm. That's how they kind of come about. When they're supposed to be good, they're never good. So that's something to consider. Also, I think, like, again, I think they might stink now. And they're plus 550. And then, like, everything I read, they suck now.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't really have any strong opinions on that.
All right. I think they're in the same boat as Florida.
Kind of just looking too, just quickly, just trying to grab some, like, notable players from Auburn.
I got. We're getting into it in a minute here. Okay, so the next one is Houston. So now Houston has been. Here's what I know about Houston. This is their 3rd straight year as a number 1 seed in the tournament. They've never gotten to the Final Four. The farthest they've gotten is the Elite 8. So some would say chokers, some would say do. What I also know is they got a tough draw in the bracket. They got the group of death or whatever they call it, where it's like they've got the toughest region. So that's working against them. And then the last note I have here, name one Houston player ever.
Never. No.
Never heard of a basketball player from Houston. Right? Every other school I can do. We're Duke, obviously, lots of them.
I wish I could think of the name. Actually, I did watch last year and see Houston. I remember.
I think the guy who played, he just got traded to the Cavs. I think he.
I wish I could remember his name. I couldn't, honestly. I just remember watching it, like.
So all the other schools, I can name a Duke player. I can name Florida players. I can name an Auburn player. Charles Barkley went to Auburn. People don't remember that. Bo Jackson also. Houston, couldn't tell you anybody who ever went to Houston. I have a hard time conceptualizing in my mind that Houston is good at basketball. Especially, honestly, hard time conceptualizing in my mind that Houston's good at sports, period. Houston football has been bad for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know how they have a good, like, clearly the University of Houston cares more about football than does basketball. And their football team's not even good. So how can their basketball team be good? Mm-hmm. How does that make any sense? So I'm wary on them. They're sitting at plus 600. They round out the group of, like, the 4 favorites. So that's kind of what I would say. If we wanted to tier this, Duke, Florida, Auburn, Houston are all in the same tier of favorites. Kind of boring. There's nothing in any of those 4 teams get fired up about. I feel like
no. The only thing is, I mean, honestly, I look at it as a green flag that they're not playing Cooper Flag for Duke on the first 2 games. I kind of like that sign of, like, oh, like, you guys are, like, confident this is going to be
yeah. That's the problem.
But I'm saying I like that energy though too. Like, just walking in and being like, yeah, no, we're gonna crush teams.
Right. But the NCAA tournament is about we're gonna crush teams, and then all of a sudden St. Peter's
they come out of nowhere. Sure.
Right.
Yes.
And then you look and then because you just imagine screaming at the TV as they're losing to a 15 seed or whoever. I think they're probably 1 seed, so a 16, even the second round, whatever. And, like, Cooper Flag's he's got like he's got like the Givenchy like designer outfit on. He's got probably chains going, looking like a cold ass white boy. And you're just losing to Weber State.
Yeah,
like that. I don't know. For plus 390, like I said, we'll put Duke in the maybe pile.
Here's the thing too: is, like, you're not going to get great numbers on these favorites anyway. So, like, I mean, I can see, like, what is this is going to be different than yours. I don't know what your book's showing, but, like, what are we looking at? Like, plus
for who?
700 for, like, Florida, plus 800 for Houston is kind of the numbers I'm seeing.
No,
are you
lower
in
than
that range?
Lower
or no?
than that.
No,
like,
okay.
anywhere Duke is plus 290, Houston is plus 600, so it's kind of in that range.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. That's a little different there. Okay.
Okay. So that's those. So those 4 teams in tier. Now this is where it starts to get fun. So the next one is Alabama. Again, I gotta just ask the question up front: does the University of Alabama know they're in this tournament?
Yeah.
I got to imagine no. Spring football has started. They're on Kalen DeBoer's ass. They didn't have a great year last year. They missed the playoff. They got to be all in on football right now. I would imagine nobody in the state of Alabama knows the tournament's going on. So that's number one. Here's what I got about that. They score a ton. Like a ton. Their coach, Nate Oates, is all like, it's threes and layups, like the James Harden way of going about things. Yep. So they score a ton of points. They were favorites early, but have had like a disappointing season. Like they just haven't. They got smoked by Florida in the SEC title game. They've lost a few other times that they weren't supposed to lose, and so just now, what I will say is, it seems like they're they're as talented as the top teams. They just haven't like performed to that level, and they're at plus 2,100. So if I can get a team that's as talented as one of the best teams, and we just have to hope they put it together for plus 2,100, I'm a little bit more interested in that than I am in a plus 600 for a similarly talented team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that. So that's Alabama. Now this is the one. I'm not gonna. Again, we'll talk this all out. This is my personal favorite here, and it's for a very good reason. So the next one, another SEC team, is Tennessee.
Yep.
So
another one.
Tennessee is at plus 2,200. Now they were ranked number 1 at one point in the season. They're no longer there. They made the SEC championship. They lost it, so they definitely have question marks about the team. Here's why I love them so much. So they have a 5'7" point guard. His name is Zakai Ziegler, who is all heart and all defense.
Yeah, I like that for a movie. I don't know if I like that betting.
You never watched the tournament. So this is just think about the storyline of how you could totally see this happening. Of Tennessee's making a run. They got a 5'7".
That's what I mean. It sounds like a good movie.
Right. He's made all the SEC defensive team twice. He's also gone through the hardships. He got hurt one year, missed a whole year. His mom's house burned down. He's from New York. His mom's house burned down in New York. She had to move down to Tennessee to live with him, and like he put his NIL money together to help get his mom's a house. Like this is a classic March Madness guy, who just takes over the sports world for 3 weeks, and then we never hear from him again. You know, like it's never talked. He just becomes a trivia answer 2-3 years down the line. But like this is the type of guy that March is made for, who is just not that good. He's small. He's not going to make the NBA, but God damn it, he's the hardest worker in the room. And think about you're going to have Bob Costas talking about how his mom's house burned down and how the Knoxville community rallied around him to uplift him and to protect him. Like that's an opening 10-15 minute segment before a Sweet 16 game for sure. Sure. He's gonna the one shining moment when they do the montage at the end of the tournament and showing all them, like he's gonna be in that some way somehow for sure. 100.
You think like you're not talking strictly like actually collusion, but you mean like there's just like the story would mean that they go deep into this. They've already got the production done.
You
like it's
need
like what are
one
we
of
going to
these
get rid
guys.
of the work? The labor's there.
Every March Madness tournament needs one of these guys of who's just going to exist in March Madness. He's never going to matter outside of this.
I'll give you this. What about this though? There's a guy like that on every team.
I don't think so.
Maybe not as impactful as this, but there's some story.
You think every team's got a 5'7" guy? No,
not 5'7", sure.
5'7",
but they've got that kind of guy, that spirited player where they can make a story out of him too.
Who's that on Duke?
Well, I don't know yet.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know yet, but they'll make a story.
Okay, but I'm just saying we know Tennessee has one, and he's like their best player. Like he's the heart of the team. Like I think he's gonna set the NCAA record for assists at some point in this tournament. Like he's like been in college forever. He's like 24, I think. Like just the ultimate March Madness guy. So they're sitting there at
I do like the value
plus 22. Plus 22.
Especially, I know they lost that big game, but it's like, they have had some success this year.
They were ranked number 1 at one point. So they are good. They are good. And they've got the March Madness guy. So that's my favorite in the club. That's the leader in the clubhouse for me.
And I think like value is going to go into these bets too. It's like, what is my best bang for my buck? I think that's pretty high.
And also maximize fun. You know how fun it would be to cheer for this guy?
Hey, listen. If he does
jersey by April.
Yeah, if he does win, definitely buying a jersey.
We'll hang a poster.
Please do.
You think I won't get a Zakai Ziegler poster? Okay, in fact, we got enough space. We'll get a life size.
I'll tell you right now, I measured this wall. It's 8 feet wide.
There we go.
One of those, no
we
problem.
have a full size.
4 feet ahead from that guy.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, so that's Tennessee. Next one we can bang through quickly. Texas Tech, they're sitting there at plus 3,100. Here's what I've got. They also score a lot. Seems to be like teams in college basketball score now. They're deep. They've got like 8 or 9 guys that they think are really, really good, but they have health concerns. A lot of guys are hurt right now. Yeah. So that immediately is disqualifying to me because I just can't, again, I can't have a bet go down while I'm watching like guys like Snapchat girls on the bench. You,
Can't
know what
see
I'm
that.
saying?
No,
like
no,
I just can't.
no, of course not. We couldn't handle Bill. We can't handle that.
Right.
No,
Now,
that's just not allowed.
Now, speaking of Bill, this relates to the next one. Michigan State, who is plus 3,200 currently. So they started unranked. They started the season unranked. They're now a 2 seed. So this is a team that's gotten better as the season's gone along. They have Tom Izzo as their head coach, who is an old, crusty, old school, tough ass coach that's been there forever. They have 27 straight March Madness appearances. That feels like that's a good stat to have. And just he's like the Bill Belichick of college football. He's just old and nobody likes him, but God damn it, he wins. Yeah. You know, so I like that. I like having that in my back pocket. I've always just been partial to Michigan State. I like their jerseys a lot. Sure. It's a good shade of green. They look like they should be good every time. You know, you think about guys like Draymond Green played there. You know, like that's good. That's good. And I feel like they always too. They're always good for like a 5'10" point guard that's running around doing things. They just seem scrappy to me, you know, like I feel like if all these other teams seem like like really high powered offenses and stuff, whereas this would be like we're gonna play defense and rebound.
No, I like the scrappiness too, especially in this tournament because it's gonna come down to like that like inside presence too. Like
right.
What last year? Last year was
Connecticut. Last 2 years, Reese UConn.
But remember
Sunoco and then the tall white guy.
There was the tall Edie was on.
Well, he was on
Purdue.
He was on Purdue.
Yeah. So not that they won.
Klingon or whatever was the dude.
Yes, because he plays on Portland now.
Just tall ass white boy.
Yeah. So like just like any big presence.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe we're physical in teams.
Yes.
You know, that's a fun thing to cheer for too. Where it's like, hey, listen,
just
like
bodying boys.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we're gonna turn this into a bar fight. We're gonna win. That's a fun thing to cheer for. And Michigan State, just as a school, they're a state school. Yeah. They're the little brother to Michigan. They're the little brother to Ohio State. They're always they're scrap. You know, like it's just so that's a team that I can see myself cheering for. Now, this next team. I like Tennessee a lot. I like Michigan State a lot, but this next team might be the ones we end up going with, and it is the St. John's Johnnies, which number one, hilarious name for a team.
Very funny.
Very stupid. Now, St. John's, do you know anything about St. John's?
No.
Okay, so here's what I was going to tell you about St. John's. Number one, they're in New York City. They're in Queens. Ron Artest went to St. John's. So they used to be they used to be a big power back in like the 80s when like the Big East was a thing back in like Syracuse and Georgetown. Yeah. Those schools were good. But they are back this year. And the reason they are back is because they hired Rick Pitino. Do you know anything about Rick Pitino?
I just know of him. I know
here's what I can tell you. Here's what I can tell you about Rick Pitino. And I say this with all love and affection and respect for Mr. Pitino. One of the all-time scumbags in the history of college athletics. Like truly, truly, truly a bad guy. I say that with all love and respect. We're a podcast that respects the scumbags. We love you, Rick. I'm using this as a reason why we should pick the Johnnies. Little background of Pitino. So Pitino, been a coach for a long. He's old now. He's been a coach for a long, long time. Coached in the 80s. He was a coach of the Celtics. Very famous quote: "Larry Bird's not walking through that door." And then goes back to college. So he was at he was the coach of Kentucky. Then he was the coach of Louisville. So first of all, that's a scumbag move right there to leave Kentucky for Louisville, in-state rival. Just took the back. Now, when he was at Kentucky, a few things happened. Most notable thing is he ended up having an affair with the team trainer's wife, to the point where he actually got her pregnant, paid for an abortion. And then, actually, the reason this all came out because she tried to extort him for like I think $10 million. He ended up becoming public with it so she couldn't extort him anymore. She ends up going to jail for like 6 years. Kentucky doesn't fire him, keeps him on as coach. He eventually leaves and goes to Louisville. Gets to Louisville, and we end up having a little bit of problem. They become good, but we end up running into some problems. Because it came out that when high school kids would come to Louisville for their recruiting trips, he was getting them hookers.
I mean, I've already started scrounging up couch change to throw on this team. I'm kind of on the Johnnies right now, just as a side bet.
Yeah,
just as a fun one. Yeah.
So there was, So he was getting recruits hookers and like doing it like himself. Like he knew the hook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's in that world. Like he is just an unapologetic. All time,
like calling and being like, Janice, I need you again tonight.
Right. The reason why I respect for him is like scumbag, but like wins at every opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas like just very much the approach of like, do you guys want to win or do you not want to win? Like,
Yeah.
And so he delivers the results, and he does it by, again, just the thing that I love about college sports, the things that makes it different than anything else, is just the characters and the craziness that you get. And Rick Pitino was up there with the best of them in terms of just an all-time bad scumbag type guy. Who I personally would love to play for.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what the Johnnies got going for them. I think there's a couple other things here. So yeah, they're a New York team, so like, you know, it'd be great to have like New York City will start getting behind them. You know, you start getting those fucking Goombatses down there, getting into a Bing Bong, like all those Knick fan guys, you know, they'll start getting into it. You'll start to get the old flashbacks to like, oh, this is what it was in like the Biggies and Patino. And so that's just, I think that would just be like, I don't know anything about their team. And like, from all accounts, they weren't supposed to be here. They were not thought to be people thought Patino was washed, and he turned him into a really good team. And so if we pick St. John's, we're probably bringing a knife to a gunfight in terms of talent, but we would have the win in the intangibles in that we've got the scumbag coach.
You got the scumbag coach.
And
do whatever it takes to win.
Exactly. Well, like I said, I said at the beginning of the podcast when we were talking about Bill Belichick, every great coach I know has been divorced at least twice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if you're like I said, if you're a coach and a good family man, there's no good coaches and good fathers.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
One or the other here, right? Are we your family or are they your family? Like, you got to pick one. So that's just where I'm at with them. So I think we can go ahead and we're going to scratch off Duke. We're going to scratch off Florida. We're going to scratch off Auburn, and we're going to scratch off Houston. All four of the favorites.
Yep.
I think we're looking for a more exciting play.
Absolutely.
Than any of those four.
I honestly, I'm pretty sold on the Johnnies.
Okay. So I think it comes down to Johnny's versus Tennessee then.
Well, I think okay. Can we do it can we tier it though too, where it's like Tennessee is like the serious one, where it's like you're going to get good value on that. I think they're a strong team, so it's like I would like to bet.
I think we got to be pot committed to one team.
Pot committed, then I got to go Tennessee. Just like I know we're having as much fun. Tennessee offers fun and also offers a legitimate chance.
Right.
But Johnny's is like what's the number at Johnny's?
Plus
that's crazy, right?
So fun to cheer.
Plus 4,000.
So fun to cheer for the Johnnies though. 3,100.
3,100.
Similar to Vanderbilt football, where it's like I just like cheer for the Doors.
Listen, man, I saw some underdogs here too. I think they're fun, but it's just like
Okay, let's say this. Can we come to an agreement that the official future bet? So we'll take Tennessee at plus 2,100, but understand as long as the Johnnies are in the tournament, I'm betting them in every game.
I think we should have some loose rules on that. I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, we're obviously going to bet the game. We just have to have one team that like
official futures Tennessee,
right?
And we will take money line as long as the Johnnies are in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm in with that for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I think that's the official.
Now maybe
one.
we do that. Maybe we get. Like you were saying, what else do you have? Are there some other teams we want to include into the money line group of teams? Teams that we're not officially endorsing, but that we want to see succeed, and that we will root for on a game-to-game basis.
I am betting. Sorry, the bracket is tough to keep up on when we're doing this live time like this. I'm betting against Auburn though. Whatever their first game is, that's gonna be the first upset I'm gonna.
What
bet.
is it about Auburn that you don't like?
Because they lost to Yale. You
can't lose it. Yeah, you can't.
They lost last year to Yale, and like that to me is a problem. That's what I'm saying. So like that's this is very again like I said, very surface level research here.
Yeah,
I'm saying like a team.
Yeah, you can't lose.
You've already said that they kind of fold in the big games like this.
It says look, the notes do say we're good now stink.
And then it was like, oh yeah, Auburn's good again. It's like, well, are they? Because recently they sucked again, right in the big stage. So
and they lost to Yale. And the last note that we can't forget about is they are Auburn.
Yes, so they play, and they're in that slate where they are waiting for the play-in teams to win to play them.
Right.
So we'll see what it is. I'm saying my first upset would be to bet against Auburn in that first one. I like that. And like you're gonna get good money if that hits.
Yeah, I like that. They're generally dumb people at Auburn too. Like kind of a dumb mouth breathing type fan base. So
sure.
Fun to watch them go through some misery. So all right, so that's it right there. So that is the official Diceshaker pick for the March Madness tournament is Tennessee at plus 2,100. Cannot wait to get overly emotionally invested in this team.
Well, now I'm excited for the Johnnies too that you brought that up.
Johnnies are great.
I can't wait to bet on the Johnnies as long as they're in the tournament.
Yeah, no, the Johnnies are going to be a great story. And like I said, hopefully they get to that second weekend where there's less teams and more time for the media to cover the individual teams, because then we can really start getting into the Patino dirt again.
Yes.
Because I think there's a lot of people out there that don't know that's like, oh, no, it was his trainer's wife. It was a guy that worked for him. He started knocking down his wife, got her pregnant, paid for the abortion, and then she got too mouthy, and he was like, you know what, I'm done with this chick.
Go to jail, bitch.
And that's how much of a scumbag Patino is he just had no problem coming out and be like, all right, so here's the deal. Cheating on my wife. It's with your wife, by the way, buddy. She was pregnant, is no longer.
I paid for it.
And also, she's a greedy bitch. Like, this is out of hand. Just no concern for his own personal reputation because he's very comfortable being a scumbag.
Yeah.
What happened was she thought she could out scumbag King Scumbag. And he's like, you're not built for this fucking life. Now you're going to jail.
Yeah, no, it is. I just really, because that's the only thing that comes with the extortion thing is like, I'm banking that you won't come out and say you did it. And it's like, well, I will.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And not only will am I comfortable coming out and saying I did it because I know I'm not going to ruin my life, I will ruin your life.
Well, I happily ruin her life. You don't give a fuck about her life. You don't care about his.
Right. And also, the trainer's just collateral damage.
That sucks that he's kind of cucked into this situation.
He was just coming in every day taping ankles.
He's a good guy. He's just rubbing boys down. He has a wife. He's like, it's fine.
But I'm not even making that much money. And he just dead in the press conference. Like, all right, so some things have been going on. You're going to be upset.
Yeah. He comes in blind. He's like giving the guys rub downs in the room. He's like, I want you to be here for this one. He's like, why?
All right. It's like, all right, we got some good news this morning is the press conference. We're going to be wrapped up by about 10:30. The bad news is some of you aren't going to like it. Well, who's not going to like it? It's like, mostly the athletic training staff. Like the entire athletic training staff. Really, the leadership of the athletic training staff is not going to have a great morning.
There's one guy that's not going to like this.
Oh, man. I love Patino. All right, that's it. That's the episode. Thank you for listening to the Diceshaker podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate us, review us, all that good stuff. We will be back next week reacting to the first weekend of the tournament. Enjoy it. One of the best gambling events of the year is the NCAA tournament, specifically the first weekend. So take it all in. The bullets are going to be flying. Make sure everybody comes home alive, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you.
I bet my life I'm a dice shaker. Electric lights on a skyscraper.